We love horror movies from the 70s and 80s, and we watch them for 2 days straight, and then we go write a book. Now we're looking back at every title, one at a time, in this podcast that we put out monthly. Once we've had an episode for every movie, it's time to meet up for another Shock Marathon. All right, the red record button is red, which means that we are recording an exciting edition of Shock Marathons podcast. I'm here with Charlie Roxburgh.
Hey.
Tom Scalzo.
Hello.
And Charlie, tell us the title of this movie and what you did to make this an interactive podcast.
Right. Well, the title that we know it by is Cheerleader Camp, and it's the title that I saw in the video stores when I was a kid. Iconic cover with cheerleader body and like skull head illustrated. Very nice. So I thought that was a pretty good cover. Cheerleader is a tempting word, and camp is a word that is in a lot of horror movies. But apparently when they filmed it, it was under the name Bloody Pom Poms, which kind of seems, seriously almost seems like one of those Saturday the 14th like joke horrors, or it's kind of too. I don't really like it. I like things that don't go together, but I don't like that instance of things not going together. And we just did a little poll on Twitter to see who liked which title better. And the people, there weren't a lot of them, but the loyal, awesome people who voted picked Bloody Pom Poms.
Shocking. Wow. Yeah, I'm disappointed in our people, frankly.
It is shocking.
I'm thinking of making this a private podcast so that these people with their bad taste can't listen. Just kidding. They're just kidding. I appreciate everyone taking part. So that's interesting to know. And this movie starts with a dream, which usually a bad idea.
We in fact have pretty much made a rule of well, it's bad many times, but at the start is probably extra bad.
Yeah.
To just rely on these dream scenes. It never works.
So we got a girl in the locker room late for her cheerleading performance. She slips in the mud as she's running out to the field. The announcer mocks her a bit. Her disapproving parents are in the stands. At one point, she says, "I need love, please," before resuming her cheer.
It's emotional.
And then something slices her arm, and then she wakes up in the van. And turns out the main girl, what's her name?
Allison.
It was Allison, and she's got major problems. Yes.
And she was getting sliced by these pom-poms, which are like razor pom-poms somehow. They don't really show that there are knives in them, but they can cut. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Doesn't work for me.
The whole vibe is bad, and it's a tough start. It's a tough start to cheerleader.
They did
camp.
sneak in a little bit of half nudity though, which is kind of funny because she has to, in her dream, she has to get changed to go perform as a cheerleader. They're like, well, you're on the way through the locker room, so switch your top real quick.
I like when she sips in the mud and the audience boos.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, what the heck?
So now we're in the van, and it's 4 girls and 2 guys. I guess they're in high school. Is it ever clarified, Tom?
I don't think so. I mean, the lead is like 40, so it's hard to know how old they are.
It's interesting that they didn't clarify.
We have this giantly obese guy named Timmy in the passenger seat, and he is so unpleasant. Just everything about him, Charlie.
Most fantastic thing Tom wrote in the book that Timmy, although he is unpleasant, Tom notes that he is our moral compass. So he's important.
That's so true.
Yeah, and our moral compass at the beginning of the movie sticks his gigantic naked butt in the passenger's window as they're arriving at camp, and it's horrible. And this is supposed to be comedy, I guess.
It's failed comedy.
Yeah. I think the rule of mooning is you
Don't
moon people as you're passing them, not when you're parking. That's the rule, because then you're just sitting there and everyone's looking at your butt,
So
and you can't get out.
Timmy's
Yeah.
and the other rule of mooning is don't do it in movies. Leif Garrett. Oh, Charlie.
Right as they're pulling up, I don't know if you guys noticed this. I noticed it on the second time. There's one of the characters says, "We have to win this competition. I'd hate to think about going back." Allison says that, and then Leif Garrett, the driver, says, "There is no going back." Which, I'm not teasing it that much. That was kind of okay, like, because I don't know. Someone might say that about competition of cheerleading, but it was a little bit of foreshadowing.
I want to just plant the seed now of the importance placed on this competition once we discuss what the actual competition is later.
Yes, let's wait. Let's wait because
Yeah. Okay.
Just keep in mind how much pressure they are putting on under themselves.
for this. Oh,
And how little logistics and judging and everything that would make it look like a real competition are present. Yeah.
so Leif Garrett. What is Leif Garrett was a heartthrob in the 70s? Is that right? What was he famous for? I don't even know. Charlie.
Some pop songs.
So and they got him. They got him out of the gutter to be in this movie, and he's the big name. So he immediately he's dating Allison, but he's immediately wooing other women, it seems. But this is an example of the worst writing on earth. Leif tries to introduce himself to Dee Dee. Her name's Dee Dee, right? The lady in charge, and he says, "Hi, we're." And then Dee Dee jumps in and says late, and it feels written and bad, so it's a bad combination of things. She takes attendance unknowingly. She's right next to Timmy's butt, who's still stuck in the window. He farts, and everyone lightheartedly giggles at that, and she slaps his butt with the clipboard, and it turns out that's all it took.
To free him.
To free him. He was stuck in the window. She lightly taps him with the clipboard, and then, Timmy's not stuck anymore. And it's this bad, bad humor. Oh, very bad humor. Wow. So, yeah, Dee Dee's name is Mrs. Tipton, but I prefer calling her Dee Dee. Allison looks on as Leif is flirting with another girl from another school. She's not happy. Her death stare is interrupted by the handyman, Bob, who offers to carry her bag. A lot of characters at this camp, huh, Charlie?
Yes, and that was the first of a few kind of like cheap scares too. Well, there's very little reason for him to all of a sudden just pick out this one girl. No one's getting their bags carried, and he just like pops behind the main character and growls. And that's George Buck Flower, who was in the Wilderness Family series and a lot of B movies, right? Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, he's in Capture of Bigfoot, I believe.
Nice.
In the Shock stable, but he's been in hundreds of things.
Yeah, so I mean they kind of are following the camp, the camp or high school, slasher movie where there's always a weird handyman or janitor, which by this time I guess was already a cliche.
Yeah, but they do it with way too much knowing humor,
Oh yeah, it's. Yeah, nothing's pure about it. It's yeah, like you say, it's phoned in. It feels like, and when you look at the credits, there's some big mega corporation or I don't know, some financing company that was like, how can we make money real quick?
Yeah,
and they're like, make one of these teen movies, and it's not coming from the right place.
So Allison's popping some pills to deal with her stress. She's got some major psychological problems. It turns out she's gonna be rooming with Corey, the mascot. Now all the girls are sunning themselves on the rocks by the river. The sheriff is watching with his binoculars. Timmy's watching. He's dressed up as a woman who's like there to catch butterflies, I think, right? Does he have like a butterfly catching? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's so much spying going on. And did he bring with him to camp in his like one small luggage an entire outfit that fit him, a dress that fit him, and the butterfly net and the hat and everything.
I'm gonna be needing this for when I'm
Apparently.
spying on the ladies. So
Just in case.
there's some major queen bee competition going on between these women, these girls. One of them is topless, and so another one of them removes her top in this back and
It's a
forth.
classic showdown.
It's a topless sunbathe off.
It's
It's like the two gunfighters in a Wild West movie, but
The-
instead they're like, "You want to get naked? I'm gonna get naked."
the only winners are the viewers of the movie, really, and it's also the only reason it happens. It's, but I guess you gotta give the filmmakers points for being this shameless.
It is sleazy though.
It's
It's not like
you're right.
in a real movie where you're like, "Oh, that looks like a real girl who would be at a camp." It's like, "Oh, that's like a
Yeah.
professional racy model."
Yes, it totally is. So then Timmy's cover is blown, and the girls don't even mind so much that this giant, disgusting guy is spying on them. They tear off his dress, and he dives into the water. Yeah.
That looks so unsafe. Did you guys think that?
Yeah,
No.
it's like 1 foot of water.
It's like 1 foot deep, and that's the first of a few instances in this movie where I feel like they might have pressured that kid, or that young actor, into doing stuff that was insane, because I don't know how much of a stuntman he had for some of that stuff, but he's throwing himself around like crazy, and
Yeah.
it doesn't feel good, because I can just imagine behind the scenes possibly he was forced to do that junk.
Now, after the handyman chastises the sheriff for spying on the girls, we get another dream from Allison. This time, yeah, Charlie.
I'm sorry.
No,
I
no,
gotta
no.
point out this one thing. Well, so the handyman is standing behind the sheriff, right?
Yeah.
Tom, this might be something you picked up on. The sheriff's like, "Hey, what are you doing here anyway?" He turns around and the handyman has disappeared, as if he's a ghost, right? He disappeared after a few words of dialogue.
Yeah, you're right. And
It
the
was
sheriff was
remi-
like confused as to where he went.
Right. It was almost as if he imagined it. Of all
Yeah.
the things going on in this movie, to introduce that, it was reminding me of Cage Terror, where there's some disappearing things.
You're
And
right. Yeah.
they had a music cue for it too, and I think they had a music cue here as well, where you're like, okay, if he pops up and appears somebody, that's one thing, but if he's actually disappearing in an amount of time that's impossible,
What are they
so
saying?
much is going on. Anyway, that was
That's a
weird.
good point.
That was worthy of an interjection. Good work. So, Allison has a dream. This time it's about the blonde girl that Leif Garrett had shown interest in. She dreams that the girl is dead in a cabin. But then she wakes up and goes to the cabin, and the girl's actually dead.
Right.
And Allison's at the scene of the death. And then everyone shows up, and no one questions that Allison is there with the dead girl. It's all immediately assumed suicide. Charlie.
This is the moment at like the sleepover when you rented this, where everyone would say, "Huh?" and you wouldn't be happy. I mean, you'd be
Nothing.
okay because you'd be at home and the VCR would be playing and you'd have treats. But otherwise, it's not a pleasant tricking of the audience. It's not clever.
No.
It's just why
Tom.
she should have. Anyway, Tom, you got.
From this point, you like nothing makes sense, right? Like the normal progression of logical like narrative would have some sort of police involvement. It would have some sort of like the camp is like on edge, people are scared, and the reaction here is like, let's hide the body and not tell anybody.
And go on with our lives. Yeah.
Go on with our lives, and we just have to the Tipton like gives a speech to like the camp, like, you know what, she was troubled, you got to like pull yourselves together. Like, it's so illogical what happens after that.
Great news, Tom. I've got that speech queued up right here. Let's listen to what Tipton has to say.
I'd like to talk about the tragedy that happened today. Why suicide? Success can breed it. Too much, too little, not having it all. Even though Susie had everything to live for, personal demons terrorized her soul.
Personal demons.
There are, unfortunately, those few of us who are too unstable. Don't let this child, unfortunate choice, dampen your own spirit. Be strong, my pretties, and sleep tight.
Well, there's so much going on here. I like how, the personal demons triggered something in Allison. That's great. But what is going on with this performance for the Dee Dee character? It's hard, the worst acting. Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a heightened reality, which they seem to touch upon now and again, not enough to be good or consistent, you could sometimes do that, and then the whole thing would sort of be a satire of teen, obsession with cheerleading or having misplaced values. The whole thing is kind of a satire of the way American teenagers live, but they're not consistent about it at all. It's just enough to confuse you a lot of times. We're like,
Exactly.
why is she acting like that? Or, is it a comment on the other 80s horror camp, like teen movies that have come, or the way American teens live, or is it just confusing? It's really just a little bit of everything and confusing.
Yes.
Sometimes it's like a jock movie. Sometimes it's like a teen showing how teens have a lot of pressure. Sometimes it's actual horror, but I mean, it is a little bit of a heightened reality, and you have to kind of accept that it's not the way that the camp is run, and the way that like the extras when they go away, or they don't act like real people. There's all this stuff that's just not real.
It's a mess.
And one thing that's weird here too is that why does Allison go to this girl's room?
Yeah, there's so many questions. We should reveal who the killer is first, right? Can we, Tom?
Yeah, I think we
Okay.
can.
We should probably warn people for like just right now, like I'm doing. It's just a little warning. But.
We're gonna tell you what happens, but we always do. So, so Corey the mascot is the killer, I guess. But
Yes.
I mean, so she killed this
So
girl
much.
because was she setting up Allison from day one? And why, Charlie?
Until the very end, it seems like she likes Allison. She has every reason to like Allison, and she is killing anyone who's mean to Allison or a threat.
So does she only want to get back at Allison, or does she have gripes against these people?
It changes as the movie goes.
But she is angry about being a mascot. She doesn't like being a mascot.
I think so, and perhaps you would think as you watched it when Allison was so nice to her that maybe her anger would have subsided a bit, and she would think, "Man, at least like the head cheerleader is totally nice to me." But I don't know. I guess she does not get over it, but she does seem to want to help Allison, and
It makes no sense. I feel like they didn't even know until they filmed the end of the movie, and then they were like, you know what? Let's make Corey be the killer.
Well, I think they knew that. I think they knew that Sleepaway Camp had huge success by its trick ending, and of course there's a Friday the 13th sort of jump scare, so they wanted to have a big ending like that. And I was just thinking now. I'm sorry I'm talking so much today, but
That's why we're here.
It's a podcast. It's okay.
Yeah. What if Corey gave Allison like an extra? This would be off camera. She gave Allison like a shot or an extra medicine so she would go into a deep sleep, like fever dream kind of thing. And then she went off and did like the killing, because it seemed, or either that or she's just waiting until Allison is having a nap and a nightmare, and then she goes and does these things.
Yeah, I guess so, because it's some darn good timing, But what
throughout the whole movie?
What got Allison to go to that room, Tom? What? That's just random.
That's what makes no sense. That her dreams are somehow
Coinciding with someone
coinciding
else
with
murdering
the
people.
killings. Yeah.
And that's the first of many times that she does that.
It really makes no sense. She's like psychically connected with Corey somehow.
We have to talk a lot about her going to drink the milk when that comes up, okay?
Oh man, that's so
like
good.
a lot.
All right, I'm hopefully it's in my notes, but let me know if I skip it. So continuing with bad taste, right after that scene where Dee Dee gives her speech, Timmy shows his video of the naked girls to Leif, and including the girl who just died is one of the naked ones that they're like salivating over in their room, Charlie.
And they did the thing where they didn't even try to make the footage look like it's from the angle.
No, it's from
that
the
Timmy
angle
was
of
at.
the
It's
movie
the
makers.
exact same cuts from the movie on 35 millimeter
35
film,
millimeter.
edited in the same way as the movie. It's not even like outtakes or a different take. That's lazy. I mean, if I were making a movie in middle school, I would have probably been like, I don't know, maybe shouldn't we like take the camera over there?
Yeah, I know, or film it on VHS.
Yeah,
for
it would have
that
been
part.
cheap. It wouldn't have been expensive to do that.
Now we get to see Allison and Corey having a boring conversation about life, but despite it being boring, I'm going to play it for you right now. Let's listen.
It's you. You're pretty, popular. You have a great boyfriend.
Others are prettier, and pretty is just a good accident. I don't know how many real friends I have, but way less than popular. And the greatness of my boyfriend is debatable.
Allison, you're one of the best cheerleaders in the state.
No big deal, Corey. Others are better.
Well, they don't have what you have.
Lucky for them.
It's class, Allison, and you shouldn't doubt yourself.
Who says I doubt myself? Ouch.
Keep brushing like that and you're going to be bald.
Oh, Corey. It's just that I get sick of the whole mess, you know? You're either in or you're out. A winner or a loser. Always on stage. Always be perfect. Sometimes I just want to be myself. Whatever that is.
Ooh, that's heavy stuff, huh, guys?
Yeah, I like melodrama, but this movie might have a little too much like internal, conflict with
Yes.
Allison character sometimes.
For sure,
Yeah.
sure. It gets it wrong in every way,
Yeah.
pretty much.
And it's not just like it later on. I don't know if you have it queued up, but later on she gets into like, after we graduate or finish, whatever it is they're doing, like we have to start making like real life decisions, and I don't know, what I want to be, and like it's too much.
It's too heavy. Yeah, that's not what we want. You want like more fun melodrama between the characters, not like this heavy internal strife.
Right.
You're totally right. So then Allison sees a bloody version of herself in the mirror. Again, not fun to watch. But luckily, we do have something to look forward to, and it's the rap song by Leif Garrett and Timmy. Through this song, a lot's going on. The groundskeeper is inadvertently spraying himself with water because he's distracted by the girls. Remember that, guys?
Oh
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it's
don't-
just terrible.
Yeah. So, let's listen to some before we play it, though, Charlie.
Oh yeah, before we play this, the characters here, Brent, the main character, the Leif Garrett guy, so unlikable. Honestly, I gotta put him on the unlikable shot characters list so high up there. I mean, he is mean to his girlfriend. He thinks he's funny when he's not. He's annoying on screen. I had it on when Teresa was in the room. She was just like, "Oh, that guy." He's so. It really does make you, almost want to stop watching the movie. And I feel like the filmmakers wanted you to think he was a cool dude. Like he's the guy you're supposed to want to be or something. And when they impose that on you as a viewer, you just want to rebel against it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Timmy's actually likable by comparison. He like
Oh,
tries to
so
help
much.
out, and
I hated Timmy a little less this time through. I gotta be honest. I despised him the first time, but he's got. Although I don't know what we'll get to it, but right before he dies, what was he doing? We'll talk
Yeah.
about it then. Let's listen to the rap though.
poor decisions.
Next is Pam, she comes out with a fam, and will tell you this, she ain't no sham. Next is Ronnie, she acts kinda funny, steal your heart, but not your money. Can't forget Teresa, she's got what it takes, putting her on this team was no mistake. Last is Glory, this is her story, she's our gator, you'll be seeing her later. And we're Brett and Timmy, we're part of the bunch, gonna take the crown, and that ain't no hunch. gotta cheer, cause we're the best team you see this year. Look.
Oh man, it hurts. It hurts.
Yeah, that's real bad. But I don't mind. It's one of the less annoying moments of the movie.
But you just like this is like them practicing. It's so terrible. Like they don't do anything organized or official in terms of like a routine or anything that they're like doing. They're just like dancing and rapping. It makes no sense.
Yeah, and the comedy of the groundskeeper dealing with the hose is just so dumb. I hate that.
Yeah, imagine if someone had that. Was it written? It couldn't have been.
Yeah.
So it
At
I
the, yeah,
really hope
on
to
the
God it
set,
couldn't
someone's like, "Hey, I could maybe pretend that I'm like overwhelmed by the girls," and and then they, haha,
and
it's
they're
funny.
like, yeah, just do it. Can you do it in 2 minutes? Yeah. We got a hose here. What? Oh, that is tough.
Next, we get to see all the mascots training in the art of eating food with your mask on, which is so so dumb, so
bad.
dumb.
It's too unbelievable to be funny.
Yes, exactly. There's and then we see that Corey's frustrated. So I guess they are building upon the Corey character, on that she's got some gripes. Next, Allison notices that the chef is wearing a cheerleader's necklace. Then she goes into the walk-in fridge, drinks some milk out of a bottle. Now, what's exciting about that? What did I miss? What did I not
so much. Well, first off, she's just wandering around, and anyone at a camp would go into the main dining hall to get something. She goes in this back screen door where the guy's carving up the ribs, the meat, and she says, "You guys have any soda here?" Who goes in the back door of the kitchen to get a soda? So then he gestures over there, and then it looks like this. She goes into the deep freezer, which is where they would put the body to keep it cold more than the fridge. And so it's in the freezer. Then there's a milk in the deep freezer for some reason that is like half open. And are we supposed to buy it? This teenager who was thirsty for a soda just starts chugging the milk from the thing and then spilling it on herself and, just chugging it like a wild man would in final exam. And then through these unbelievable physics things, the body just tumbles off the top rack, which she didn't even really touch it. And so many things went on there that it was one after another. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
Yeah.
I don't buy that.
So it turns out, as we mentioned, Dee Dee couldn't be bothered with the corpse, so she just threw it in the freezer and did not report that one of the children that she's in charge of was dead. She's too busy. So Allison calls the sheriff, who shows up to investigate. And what does Dee Dee do to deal with this? She seduces the sheriff. She gets into a cheerleader's outfit and does some cheers, and he pretends he's a football player, that he's going in to score a touchdown, and it's yet another unpleasant scene.
Horrible.
Charlie.
Do you guys think that it seems they've done this before, and that she knew that she could get away with, when the police...
cheerleaders are dying on her watch all the time, and she just sleeps with the guy to deal with the repercussions.
Like, her explanation, right, to him is that she just, she was going to report it after the competition was done, right? That's what she said. She had to get through this. A few days, and which turns out to be like the next day it's over. But like what is she getting out of any of this? Right? Like the end of it is, it's not like there's like a ceremony with like TV cameras and it's like going to further her career. It's like an applausometer competition inside of a lodge that she's drunk. It doesn't make any sense. Like what?
They treat it like it's going to be in a huge stadium, a jam-packed stadium, and but it's just a lodge with the only audience is the other competitors.
No judge. No judges, no professional people there who could offer you, or no scholarship, granting people, nothing like that. She does say she needs the job. That's the only thing they try to explain it by. But I don't know. I mean, you need the job, but you're only going to be able to stay for like 2 more days until you report the murder. Then you're going to get in trouble anyway. So it only bought you 2 more days of competition stewardship.
So Timmy, of course, is right outside the window videotaping the romantic escapades between Dee Dee and the sheriff. Then we get to see Allison creep into the handyman's shed, and she hides as he comes in, and I have no idea why she's in there or why the scene exists. But it filled up a little time, I guess, huh? Charlie?
There's a chance maybe she's going into like Nancy Drew mode and she suspects a little bit, but it's just a guess because it's not implicit.
Let's listen to Allison and the mascot girl just talk about life a little bit more. I haven't had my fill yet.
Town's 1,000 miles away.
Besides, we can't go. We've got a contest to win, remember?
Now you're talking about winning. Are you really sure that's what you want?
Wish I could be more certain. Is it for me, or is it for the people who are telling me what I should be doing? You know what's scary? We're gonna be out in the real world soon. Who do you win for out there? We gotta be sure what we're doing is what we want to be doing. Because before we figure out who wants what, a person could go crazy.
Well, there's more than one way to be a winner.
I think one of those ways has to do with the good friends you meet along the way. Friend.
You really mean that?
I'm sure about it.
That's nice.
Another way of winning is for you to bag that mascot title.
That's so sweet. They're friends. What a shame that all the while Corey is setting up Allison for a killing spree.
I do not get it. Yeah.
So what's next? At a meeting, the head mistress, Dee Dee, is about to show a video to everyone, but Timmy sneaks his video into the VCR, and lo and behold, it's the video of what's it called? Of the two of them having their little tryst, and everyone thinks that's funny. So that's a great moment of hijinks.
It's like a Porky's, like I say that, and I've never actually watched Porky's. It's like what I imagine one of those 80s teen sex camp wacky comedies have. There's always something like that, especially as video technology was getting cheaper and more people had it.
Mm-hmm.
They
I think
worked
Revenge
it
of the
into a
Nerds
lot
has
of
something
plots.
like this.
Yeah,
there's always some kind of somebody videotaping somebody.
So after that, Leif Garrett and Allison have a talk where Allison expresses her concerns about the relationship. Leif kisses her, then suggests they go somewhere private, but Allison isn't up for it, which leads to a fight. Leif is just a jerk, too. Oh, my God. It gets worse later. Timmy and Leif then discuss what seems to be the matter with Allison. Timmy suggests she needs attention. Leif says he needs attention. So there's the moment where Timmy becomes a little bit more likable. He's like, human at least, right, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the only rational thing anyone has said. He's like, well, maybe you should pay attention to your girlfriend. He's like, oh, screw that. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, he actually is the best actor too, probably, Timmy.
Yeah.
I mean, now and again he goes into kind of a nice mode or says something to somebody, and I thought, wow, that felt like a real movie for a second. He was pretty good. Although we did nominate Allison for Best Actress.
Wow.
We did,
What were we
and the
thinking?
only reason was for her beauty, which was probably kind of bad of us.
Sorry.
In retrospect, she's not really that attractive, and she's a terrible actress. Like, what were we thinking?
She's got to assert something.
No,
but-
she does not. She's very boring.
Great news, guys. It's time for a horrible dream sequence where all the mascots cheer on Leif and one of the other girls in bed together, which drives Allison crazy. Now, next day at the practice, there's tension between Allison and the others, so they all go swimming. Leif is giving another girl a massage, which doesn't go over well with Allison. He and the other girl start kissing in a more private area. And in a moment, now we're going to listen to them discussing whether he actually has feelings for her, this other cheerleader girl that Leif is now having a little moment with.
No.
What?
I don't want this to be a one-time thing. I mean, do you really care for me?
But you flit around like a butterfly, now you're all talk, is that it?
Maybe I am. But maybe I'm not.
But you don't want to break the string now, is that it?
Maybe I am. But maybe I'm not.
It's quite a metaphor or a simile, whatever they got going there.
It's heavy
I
stuff.
don't even really know where they were going with that. It made no sense.
So much of the conversations in this movie just go around in circles, leading nowhere. It's amazing. So she hears a noise in the bushes. Leif is annoyed and just leaves. She's got to walk through the woods alone. She gets, and she ends up with hedge clippers rammed from the back of her head through her mouth. So I guess Corey did that. Huh, Tom?
I mean, that's the only conclusion that we can come up with. I'd kind of like to watch it again, but I don't really want to. But I kind of like to watch it again and see where is Corey at that time and see if it's feasible.
Consistent. Yeah, I feel like it's not consistent. I think that you could come up with a theory that there's multiple killers in this movie, Charlie.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I don't think we're supposed to think that, but for some of the scenes, she's not part of the group, like the sunbathing things, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's not there.
It seems, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, but wow, wouldn't that be amazing if only like the filmmakers really knew that there were one or two murders that the cook did.
Yeah, it was a perfect storm. All right, so time for another horrible dream sequence. This time she's in her cheer outfit in the woods, walking with an evil look on her face. She approaches the girl who's just killed, kissing Leif, and slashes her with pom-poms. She awakens to see Corey in her mascot uniform waking her up. So here we have again, Allison is dreaming of the murders that I guess Corey is actually doing. And
right.
Is there some sort of psychic connection, Tom?
Well, that's what I was thinking. All you have to do, right? They're roommates, right? All you have to do is have Allison wake up and say, Corey, I had this terrible dream in which, I killed someone with pom-poms and there was all the mascots there, and then like Corey like acts it out. Like it's so easy to do that. Instead they don't, and we have to have a psychic connection to explain anything.
And dream sequences are bad anyway. Just cut them all out. Oh.
Yeah.
It feels like they were trying for like 10 to like 18% art too.
Yes, and art is
which can hurt in this one. It's kind of like failed comedy mixed with failed art.
Oh, bad things. Let's listen to Corey's trying to stop Allison from taking more pills.
No more pills, Allison.
It's none of your business, Corey.
Maybe not, but you've got problems and you can talk about them to your friend.
I don't have any friends.
But I'm still your friend. I mean, I'd like to be. If you don't want to talk about it, that's okay.
Oh, yes. How many words? That's like 20 words, and 3 of them are friend in 3 different sentences. You could talk about your problems with your friends. I don't have any friends, but I'm still your friend.
So now it's time for the big competition, which we've hinted at is you think it's going to be at some sort of an arena, but it is at the living room of the lodge.
No stage,
and
no crowd.
The handyman has like a key role to play to be in charge of the entire like audiovisual presentation, right?
The dancing mascots cause Allison to recall her recent nightmare, and poor Allison. Corey did not win the competition for best mascot, and she's mad. Huh, Tom?
I'm sorry, but the competition, you'd think cheerleading is, a lot of it's like gymnastics. It's like stunts. It's like complicated, things to do. And this is like just this weird like dance. Like she was break dancing at one point. It has nothing to do with cheerleading. It's just it doesn't make any sense.
There's growing concern over where Pam is. She's been missing. She's the one who's dead out in the woods. So I mean, it seems at this point she's been missing 6 hours or so. It feels, Charlie.
And by growing concern, you probably mean like 25 times in 2 minutes they say, "Where's Pam? I wonder when she's gonna come back." Someone says, "Don't worry, she'll come back." Someone says, "But she hasn't come back yet." "Don't worry, she'll come back. Where's Pam?" Like, oh no.
Let's listen to the pep talk before the big performance.
Look, there's no way we can do this competition with one of us missing.
No way, you guys. I once read this story about this choo-choo train. And, well, if we think we can, and we think we can, well, we can.
Yeah, sure, right. I don't know. Maybe she's right. Maybe we can pull this together without Pam. Maybe we can find the guts deep within inside of us to pull us through to victory. What do you say? Victory! 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 Let's do it! Do it! Do it!
Do it! Do it! Do it! Do it!
I have no idea. First off, the horrible humor. That blonde girl, like the dumb blonde, every time they try to get humor out of her, it's bad. But then, like Leif, is Leif's character serious in his pep talk, or is he being? He's supposed to be serious, but he completely seems like he's faking it, Charlie.
Yes, that's exactly right. It's so offensive because it's like insulting all movie pep talks.
And it's like Pam is dead. Pam's missing, and it just he immediately goes from "there's no way we can do it" to the blonde girl saying, "What about the little engine who thought he could?" And he's like, "Maybe she's right." And it's just like, what are we watching?
What difference would it make if Pam was even there? Like they don't have like a routine already. They're just like up there dancing, kind of. They're like swaying a little bit. It's nothing. They're not doing
Why did they
anything.
do the rap earlier? That wasn't gonna factor in at all in any shape or form.
Yeah, their performance is.
There's so much inconsistency among all the cheerleading groups too. There's some that are like in their full outfit doing poses. Then there's other ones that just look like they're casual and they're swaying to music, or they feel like they're from different planets.
It really feels like they're just in a rush. Like just do something quick. We're rolling. Just do something. So for the performance is a mess, and Timmy trips over the old man during the performance, knocking over the radio, and that just ends the show. And Timmy thinks it's hilarious.
He thinks it's so hilarious. And it's just
weird.
It's a thing that happened. It's not funny. It's just a thing that happened.
And Leif says, "At least we tried," and it's so it's so wrong and bad.
And his fall was scary. This is another instance of the thing where it's like this huge guy just tumbling across a room, and as a viewer, you think, "Oh man, I hope he's not hurt." And then he's chuckling, and then I think, "Stop chuckling because it's not funny." And what was your routine anyway?
Well, you think back to the beginning and the pressure they were putting on themselves to this build up for this performance. Yeah. And then they're like, "Oh, well, we guess we tried. We stood up there for about 15 seconds and didn't do anything." It doesn't make any sense.
No.
All right, so now Leif is trying to get the girls focused on the next event in the competition, but one of them snaps, and we are going to listen to that right now.
Let's go. All right, Teresa, let's go.
How can we think about a stupid contest when Pam's not even here?
Maybe she'll show up just in time.
She'll show up. She'll show up. We keep saying that, mascot. She hasn't shown up.
My, don't we have our undies in a bunch.
Come on, girls.
Timmy! It's like we're dealing with a missing person, and Timmy has to make another horrible quip. Oh, my goodness. Mm-hmm. All right, so inside, the girls are parading around like it's a weird beauty contest. Remember, at that point, like it's like this new competition where they're just walking. They're just walking around. Also, it should be mentioned already. Yeah, that in my notes I wrote it should be mentioned we're in the living room of a lodge. Charlie.
Well, I know something else that should be mentioned. I hope Tom paid real close attention to this one. So the gang is getting in trouble for Timmy for tripping over the handyman and kind of making an embarrassment of the competition, as if that were possible. But Dee Dee is yelling at them. Timmy looks at her, right? Makes a little gun with his fingers and goes like he shot. But they insert the sound of a laser on the soundtrack that didn't come from his mouth.
Yes.
And again, it's like Cage Terror with something that is there's all these like film words that people use for things like this. I'm not going to use them, but it's like just completely from another planet.
Yeah.
And someone didn't think, or someone thought it would have been funny, and then it just went through the all the processes and got released. But you're like, how can a character make a laser sound and then it happens and he shoots a laser with his fingers and then it's never mentioned and nothing else like it again? It's just fun.
That's a good point.
To notice. Great. Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to mention is just the judging is based on the loudness of the applause of the other competitors, and that's it. It's like what's Mrs. Tipton like walks over, she's like, oh, what about this mascot? Everyone cheers, and then she's just like, well, I guess this one was louder, so you win. It's unbelievable.
And I think they're hinting that Miss Tipton favored the other one over Corey because Corey had a fight with her in the lunchroom that one day.
Yeah. She had issues eating through her mask.
Yeah, so that very non-specific who's clapping louder method allows for some manipulating of the system.
Cost her the title.
So the blonde girl who was referenced, the little engine who could, she wins this weird competition, so that's nice. Now there's a new wave band playing. Leif lectures Allison on how she needs to work harder at winning. It's like this whole theme of winning is so vague and hit or miss and a waste, Charlie.
Kind of like a foreigner wrote it,
Yeah, for sure.
Like it was like, hey, this is how American high school or college is
like, yeah.
And this is how cheerleaders are, but you just not really knowing. And around this time too, I wanted to point out when Teresa goes outside, I think, because she doesn't want to be there for the Queen competition.
Yep.
Her hair, unbelievably tall. I mean, we are talking about, I had to like pause the movie for a second, kind of tall.
Yeah, it's a super 80s hairdo, very impressive.
And who booked this sort of? You said new wave. It is kind of new wavy, but also a little bit like punkish. Who booked them for the cheerleading party? It's like they would have fought each other, or cheerleaders would not want to dance to this. It just feels like another thing that makes it feel like it's from another planet.
So now I kept mixing up the handyman and the chef, but one of them is asked by Dee Dee to keep an eye on the girls who went outside. When he's alone, he goes on a brief righteous speech to no one about how he's happy to keep an eye on these girls who have too much exposed flesh. Just, I guess, for the sake of having a red herring, I guess.
Yeah, and for the sake of the audience, right? He's holding a flashlight on his face and flicking it on and off.
Yeah.
He's not scaring anybody. You know what? If at least if you're giving yourself, talking out loud, people do that. They kind of like might voice their opinion, more so in a movie than real life, but they probably don't do scary lighting effects on themselves, not looking in the mirror out in the woods.
Now one of the girls falls down a hill that seems flat. She stops rolling right at the tree where Pam is. So it must be Teresa. Is it Teresa with the hair who does that?
Teresa.
Okay. And Teresa talks to her for a little while before realizing that she's dead. Charlie.
One funny note here. I like this part. I liked the music. I know we're saying we don't like anything. I like the music here. There was some kind of ominous keys and or organs or something.
Mm-hmm.
Really liked it, and I know it's Yeah, oh, cool, Tom. There's this cliche of talking to the dead person and then finding that they're dead, and I know it's not original, but for some reason here, I just felt like I was back in the era of having rented this movie, some nostalgia or something. I was happy at this moment.
Moment of weakness for Charlie.
I like that she's. The assumption is that she's asleep. You know, it's like, oh, get up! What are you doing there? Like shoved in between two trees, napping
with no blanket on a cold night. Yeah.
So Teresa runs to the street where a large van chases her and crushes her against a tree. And somehow,
it's not just any van though.
Is
it's
it the
their
van?
van?
Okay, it didn't dawn on me at the time. So Corey has somehow figured out. She's like, all right, Teresa's gonna roll down there. I'll hop in the van and run her down.
She's going to run into the woods and happen to be right near this dirt road. And, you know, death by van is like the last choice when someone's running around in the woods.
I know. So Corey had to sneak off, take the van away, and get it back with no one noticing. Just keep that in mind, everybody.
And clean it up, too, and like fix any damage that might have happened.
Because they even open the hood later on, and there's no sign that this vehicle was used in that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now Timmy and the blonde girl who won the contest, do we know her name?
Bonnie.
Bonnie are having a grand time.
Her name is Bonnie. Sorry, that you can remember from
okay, yeah. She's
funny.
He has a hat with 4 beers in it connected to straws. So maybe they are in college. I don't know. It would seem that Dee Dee wouldn't allow, but Dee Dee, who knows? But
Dee Dee allows. Yeah, Dee Dee allows. I mean,
All right, so they're having a good time at the party. Leif finds Corey and Allison and suggests that they call off the search. just wait till morning. And the chef or handyman tells them to go back inside. So inside, Timmy's guzzling some booze. Oh yeah, because he wants to talk to a pretty cheerleader. So we watch him. He downs tons of booze and then still doesn't know what to say. So decides he's just gonna kiss her, and she's into it. And then he carries her out of the party, presumably to get intimate.
But at first she's not, which makes it all the more illegal and wrong.
Yeah,
it's just like all this stuff going on. Why couldn't they have just made it that she was like, okay, and then they kiss? Why does he have to force himself? This is another decision that made it as bad as it could be right there.
Very unpleasant to watch. Yeah, you feel bad.
Right.
So now let's listen to this dialogue. Now at the party, they're still arguing about whether they should be searching for these girls. I like the way the line, 2 of our girls are missing. Let's listen to this.
Now, 2 of our girls are missing. You've got to do something. I am doing something.
What is that, dancing while our girls disappear? Is that it?
She can't function. I'm calling the sheriff.
That's good stuff. There's a lot of fun intonations that are just a little bit off throughout the whole movie. I love it. But yeah, Dee Dee's drunk and she doesn't care. She didn't care about the one suicide. What is she going to care about other missing girls? Leif doesn't want Allison to call the sheriff for fear that he'll be a suspect. Totally out of the blue. Yeah,
I'll be the prime suspect.
Allison admits that for all she knows, she's the killer.
And he's like, what?
She's like, I've dreamt about every murder that happened magically.
But I could see myself doing that.
So she calls the sheriff. Dee Dee goes on a drunken search for the girls, and she's killed, I guess. Dee Dee's dead? Yeah, wow.
Well, she gets the cleaver in her back, and then she staggers.
Oh, yeah, we see her
wounded
again.
back to camp.
The sheriff's half asleep, drinking in his car when he gets the radio call about an issue at camp. He doesn't believe it's a missing person, but rather a bunch of kids humping in the woods. But he heads over there anyway. Timmy comes into the party with a bloody hand that he shows to the others. This is his way of showing them that one of their friends is dead outside, right, Tom?
Yeah. He had been stumbling around with that other cheerleader and found, I don't know which one, Teresa, maybe?
Yes.
Or, yeah. Yeah, and he's just like, hey, guys, what's up?
What?
Here's
like,
my bloody hand.
Bad taste on the part of Timmy and the filmmakers, both people. It's like, what are you thinking, Charlie?
He didn't. Yeah, he didn't even need to. He could have wandered in a dazed state, and it would have been like, you won't believe what I just found. But when he found her, the extent that he would have to touch her with that hand to get that much blood that they showed.
So bloody.
It's so unbelievable that you're just confused.
Really weird.
The general reaction to people discovering death, or anybody that's dead, it's none of it is realistic. Like there's nobody is like scared, like almost ever, until like the very end when they announce like there's a killer or something. Nobody like reacts normally. It's very weird.
The whole movie is very weird.
That can sometimes be good, but not here.
Not here. Yeah, you're totally right. So they go out to look for the body. Timmy looks to the heavens and says, "No more surprises tonight, okay? I want to get out of this thing alive."
Oh, talk about left field. I mean, it's enough again to be confusing because he's never hinted that he would pray or anything. You can't at this point in the movie just introduce something like that.
Oh, Timmy is just despicable.
And you know what else I noted here, guys? I don't know if you felt this, but since the contest is over, I put a note down that I feel like the movie should almost be over right now. But there's still a lot to go.
Yeah.
I mean, there's already been there's a lot of people being killed. The main contest is over. It's gonna drag for a while here.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's got all these kills in this movie," but when they're all like confusing and we don't really care about just kills in a movie. It has to be entertaining and good, and you're happy while you're watching it.
So Dee Dee's still alive.
Right.
She goes to Allison for help and dies in her arms with an axe in her back. Allison holds the murder weapon. Could this cause her to be a suspect? We'll have to wait and see. Corey comes to soothe Allison, telling her it's not a nightmare. Meanwhile, the party is raging inside until Leif comes to the mic. And let's listen.
Oh, that's good.
Let's listen to what he says right here.
Stay calm, but one of our girls has been murdered, all right? Let's just get out of here alive. Don't panic.
Okay.
So good.
That's funny. Within seconds, everyone but the main characters are gone. Just like that. It's hilarious. It's like an airplane when Leslie Nielsen says like, does anyone here know how to fly a plane?
Yeah, punching each other out. Did they establish for a second that everyone had a car right out front? I feel like we've seen that area in multiple shots, and there were no bunch of cars. Like everyone drove their car to this party, not in like the lot where you would park when you arrived at camp.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, and
then they're all just gone. Yeah. I mean, it's classic low budget to get rid of your extras and also simplify the story and the ending. But it's like Airplane. That's right. It's so zany.
So now Leif is running around the grounds. He trips over Dee Dee before finding Corey and Allison. They meet Timmy and another girl at the van. Who is it? Is that Donna? No, the blondie, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Corey's still with them.
Yeah, whatever, whoever it is, who cares? But it won't. The van won't start because someone cut the wires. This is the prize for coming in last place, Timmy quips. Oh, Timmy.
And then you can't. There was apparently off-screen talk about the reliability of the van.
Oh,
because Brent says, "You didn't fix this thing?" And then Timmy says, "I'm not a miracle worker," or something like that. And then he says, "Hood." So we're supposed to just have known that the thing had mechanical problems or something. You can't resolve a fight that happened off screen at a moment like this and have it be fun for the audience, And first off, you shouldn't have a van that was perfectly reliable not start in the moment when it's needed without hinting. You just got to hint. You just got to lay one seed that, it's on the fritz. I'll buy it.
Let's listen to some good lines here.
We gotta walk out of here.
It's at least 40 miles.
You got a better idea?
What about the killer?
We can't stay here.
You know, I'm starting to feel like the little kid at camp. I want to go home and I want my mom.
I want my mom too.
Let's settle down. Let's go.
Oh, Timmy.
So I wonder what the math would be on 40-mile walk for these guys in their like little cheerleading shoes.
It would take them to three days. Yeah. All right. So now, as they try walking the 40 miles to town, Timmy starts filming them and interviewing them lightheartedly about what's happening. And then the handyman shoots Tom, did that drive you crazy or what?
Yeah, it was a little much. You know, he said he's trying to lighten the mood or something.
It's
but
such bad taste.
yeah,
in every
no one
way.
is like scared appropriately or no one ever reacts appropriately to the situation.
So then the handyman shoots a warning shot and tells him to go away. And then now Timmy, for some reason, places the camera on a tree stump and starts talking to it and then starts unzipping his pants. What is going on, Charlie?
He's a joker. He is obsessed with using the camera, and
there are multiple dead bodies. Someone is killing off his friends, and he's flashing the camera for some reason. All right.
I don't know.
The rest of them make it to the van. Leif goes back for Timmy, but only finds the camera. They go in to watch the video. On it, we see the moment after Timmy starts unzipping. That's when he gets a machete to the groin. What the heck?
With a nice close-up somehow intercut into the footage.
Yeah. This is insane. Now the whole gang sets up some kind of trap for the killer. Charlie.
Right there, when you said that's where one of our favorite lines happened. Brent says, "Oh my God, there's so much going on. There's too much going on." At some point, it's just kind of funny because as a viewer, you're like, this movie is out of control and not in a good way. But then Brent runs and he says that.
So then the sheriff walks into the trap. Thank God it's over, one of them says before they realize they killed the wrong man. Leif grabs a weapon and runs outside. He tries to kill the handyman, but misses. The handyman tries to kill Leif, but is shot by Corey, who's amazing. But the handyman's not dead.
So much killing right there.
Handyman's not dead. Corey shoots him again before he can shoot them. Thank God.
There's actually a set piece in a way where they go into the room, they use a bear trap or something. They're placing the tripwire. There's all this, and then all of a sudden walks in the room. Dead. Go outside. Another confrontation. Another guy to kill. Dead.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Not really dead. Then he comes back to life. Shot again. Dead.
Back inside, Allison's freaking out as she stares at the dead sheriff. Dreams, nightmares. Don't do this to yourself, she says before Leif shows up and comforts her. Okay, so now they're all pretty happily convened by a fire in the lodge, enjoying some drinks. Leif sends Corey and the Queen, the Queen meaning the blonde girl, out to call the authorities so that he can get intimate with Allison. This is insane. This is completely insane. She asks what's wrong with him, and he says, "Do you have a better way to celebrate?" Which is just completely insane.
No.
This guy was already unlikable, but now he's come to a whole new level with this. This is nuts. Charlie, how much do you hate this guy?
It is unbelievable. I mean, he is insane, and at this moment, you're trying to figure out who the killer is. So, you wonder if they want his insanity to be part of the red herringness, but really, it's just that he's like an '80s, spoiled brat, jock type jerk guy,
right? Who looks around 40 years old. We should note.
Yeah.
So now Corey comes to break that up, and then she talks to Allison about how she thinks Leif is the killer. Let's listen to that right now.
I never should have left you alone with him.
What are you talking about?
Don't you see, Allison?
He was just attacking you. Now I know that he was the one out there who was trying to kill me. No, Corey, that's not true. I wish it wasn't. I really liked Brent. But we've got to stop him before he kills Bonnie. Corey, that's insane. What are you talking about? The killer's Brent. Here. And we've got to stick together on this. It's the only way we're going to get out of this alive, all right? Now, come on.
So, Corey's totally setting up Allison right here, but it works out well for her case that Brent was, being so aggressive towards her. So now Leif's at the phone, standing over Bonnie, who is dead, but I guess Corey killed Bonnie ahead of time. But Leif is standing rather casually over this yet another dead person,
and not really doing anything.
He's just standing there.
Let me just hang out here.
Corey leads Allison to shoot Leif. And now it turns out Corey was setting up Allison the whole time. She couldn't deal with just being a mascot, I guess. And now it says, I just wrote, if Allison was a killer, why didn't she kill Corey while they were waiting for the authorities? But the detective never considers that. He immediately buys Corey's story, and they send Allison away guilty. Just so like they didn't put a lot of work into this movie. It seems is the moral of the story. So Tom, give us your overall review.
I always try to find the good in things. There's some nice moments here and there, but they're kind of few and far between. Like some of the dialogue is kind of funny. Some of the Corey and Allison, like life lesson kind of things. And there's a few moments of Timmy that are kind of nice. But I mean, overall, it's just too ridiculous and it's too uneven to appreciate. You can't appreciate it enough as a ridiculousness, and you can't appreciate it enough as serious. It doesn't go far enough either way.
Well said, Charlie.
Yeah, it doesn't have the can-do spirit or the underdog feeling that some movies have that you want to sort of root for.
Yeah, it's a little glossy even.
Yeah, and I at times I actually wrote down I like how it looks, and many times I do. Like when Corey and Allison are walking together, I don't like the talk that they're having, but just the way that it looks, it's pretty nice, and it's an easy movie to watch, and I could see renting it back then, and being reasonably okay with it. It's just it's not a classic. It has gotten way worse with time, from a morality standpoint and a joke standpoint and maybe style, I guess, too. And it's hard to recommend it. The main thing that was good for us in a Shock Marathon is it's kind of easy to watch. It's
the lighting
and also
yeah,
the lighting and the sound pretty good, and you can kind of think, oh, who's the killer? They get that a little bit.
Yeah, I bad taste is just what comes to mind from the movie. Like the filmmakers have bad taste, the characters have bad taste. The attempts at humor are so bad in so many moments. It's really uncanny how Timmy's jokes, and I mean he's jokingly filming with them as they're escaping a killer, and all their friends just died. So
yeah, they probably did that whole thing just so they could do that one gag with the video camera where they find out you see the killing later on the tape instead of seeing it.
And that is so weird. Why is he flashing the camera? He's flashing the camera immediately after being attacked, chased by a killer. It's insane.
For himself, his own camera.
Yeah. I'm gonna want to see this later. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and this is one of those movies that they didn't have a likable, like charming person.
Anybody,
Usually, every camp movie, there's always the guy who you're like, oh, he's an underdog. Everyone's picking on him. It just felt like no, everyone's like like in real life, either like a drug addict or a playmate or something. Like they're too it's no good taste, like you said.
Yeah. And in that way, it's the late '80s. It's from '88, I think. Is that right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's so much of its era.
And that's late '80s is usually not good. It's got a little bit of the gloss, and like Charlie said, it's got these people. It's not the girl next door in a movie. It's the playmate next door that they're paying to be in a movie, and that's not as charming. So that's what's bad about the '80s: bad taste and just like cynicism. The whole movie feels a little cynical. The Dee Dee character is a great example of that too, because she's just over the top, and like they kind of think they're maybe making some sort of comment about something, but they don't even know. They don't even think long enough to figure out what that comment is, and it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Timmy's the moral compass anymore.
Yeah. You might be right. I mean, yeah.
He's lost his status as moral compass. It's got to be the little engine that could. She's the true moral compass in the movie, maybe.
I guess so.
Yeah. And let's wrap this up. This could be our longest episode ever. Shock memories. I guess I remembered Timmy getting stuck in the window. That was a major memory. The movie, it's about as bad as I remembered. I remembered not liking it much, and I still didn't. There were a few redeeming moments where I was like, oh, maybe not quite as bad as I remember, but also a few moments that I forgot were horrible. So I guess I stayed about even. Tom?
Yeah, I didn't really remember much beyond the bathing on the rocks.
Right, because we have a picture of it on the book.
We have a picture of it. Yeah, that's the only thing that sticks out. But yeah, every dream sequence with the mascots and all the pom poms flashing around, and it just wears on you. You don't like it.
Charlie, memories?
Yeah, I think it went down in my estimation.
Wow.
And my memories at the time were that it was a little more fun and a little more innocent. It's more cynical than I remembered. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't remember much other than some of the Timmy stuff. Yeah, the sunbathing, and I guess I might have remembered the rap, because there's a whole study that one could make about this era. You had to have a rap in your movie. They knew the things you had to have. It's like a foreigner who was mildly interested in American ways and said, oh, you have the rap. You have this big guy who does the comedy. You have the handyman. He's lewd, he spies on the girls.
Yeah,
and it
but
was just like
tone
phoned
deaf,
in.
Tone deaf in every way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie, the dream sequences and all the psychobabble reminds me a lot of Sorority House Massacre. Remember that one, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much. Very much.
So
I'd take
on the
that
same
one
era.
off.
we'll have to. Yeah, that's preferable, Tom.
In my memory, yes, we have to rewatch it.
Well,
I was
we'll
so sleepy when we watched that one. Oh, I remember
Yeah.
so little.
Well, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do it next month. For Tom and
Ooh.
Charlie. This is Farley. We're back-to-back, unentertaining, glossy psychobabble movies.
Nice.
Stay tuned, and we'll let you know what we do. Thanks for listening. For Tom and Charlie, this is Farley saying bye.